You're on the air with Florenza, your podcast destination for authentic conversations with a twist. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and join me on this unique literary journey. Cheers! Today's guest brings Appalachian grit, family secrets, and a whole lot of moonshine-soaked mystery. I'm thrilled to welcome Polly Stewart, author of The Felons Ball, a novel where loyalty is tested, bodies surface, and no one gets out clean. Buckle up, y'all. This one's got teeth. Put your hands together and welcome Polly to the show. Thank you so much, Polly, for joining me on this episode of On the Air with Florenza, where in just a few minutes we are going to discuss your newest release, of which you are on tour. So, I can't wait to dive into The Felons Ball. And I have a funny story. When I first read the title, I actually read it as The Felons Balls, as in testicles, which was hilarious. And I thought, Polly, on her picture, she looks so sweet. But Polly's talking about balls? Lord have mercy, clutch my pearls.
It's so funny that you say that, because one of my friends, when she heard the title, she texted me and said, "Well, why does he only have one?"
That was going to be my first question. What happened to his left testicle? I don't know. Curious minds want to know.
That's funny.
Now, before we dive into your book, The Felons Ball, we're going to toast to an amazing show. And I saw you had a mug earlier. Now, Polly, a lot of my guests have been coming on and they've been claiming it's coffee or tea or water in those mugs, and I know better. So, what's in your mug today?
Mine is coffee. It's pretty early in the day still here, and I don't happen to have any moonshine with me, so I'll have to stick with the coffee.
Good. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
I am enjoying the very last drop of, and I'm going to show the bottle this time. I didn't show it my last interview. It's called Ingleside. I picked this up on my last little girls trip to a place called Colonial Beach, Virginia. It is spectacular. I feel like time stood still there. Like, people were getting in the beach and they were leaving all of their personal belongings right there on the beach and just having fun, and nobody bothered anyone or bothered anything. I was waiting for Aunt B and Andy Griffith to come out any moment. It was scary because
Cute.
I'm reading a book now that talks about an alternate universe where everything is perfect and then like the zombies eat your brains. So I was thinking at any moment my brains are going to be eaten.
That's where they get you, Colonial Beach.
They're going to get me. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Polly, and about your book, The Felons Ball, which I said in the intermissions segment that I truly read it as the felon apostrophe S ball, meaning testicles, and was wondering, as did your friend, why the felon only had one testicle, and why was such a sweet-looking lady writing about testicles in a book?
That's so funny that you say that. But I have a friend who owns a bookstore, and every time she introduces me to people, she says, "Polly is so sweet. She's so nice, and her books are not nice at all." So I guess I have imagination. But so The Felons Ball is set in Virginia, where I grew up and where I still live, and it's about a very well-known family in this community called the McCready's. They're kind of well known because back in the 90s, the two brothers of the family were moonshiners, which was still happening in Virginia in the 90s. At this point, they've gone straight. They have a legitimate business. But on the night of this big party they have every year called the Felons Ball, his best friend is murdered. And the best friend is also the secret lover of Trey's daughter, Natalie. She's the protagonist, and then she gets caught up in trying to figure out what happened to him.
Wow. Now, Do you know any real moonshiners? Because I do, and they do live in Virginia.
I do too. And it's so funny to me because, I was offered moonshine in college, when in Virginia it was just kind of around. And then when I moved away, I never heard anything about it until I came back. So it seems to be kind of just a local small town Southern thing now from what I can gather. But I do have some friends where I live who always have it, always have a jar in the freezer, and it's kind of a fun local custom, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we had some friends. I lived in Virginia a total of 14 years, the Hampton, Newport News area. So it'd be hilarious to find out if we had some similar friends. Now, I have some questions lined up for you. I have been waiting to interview you, and thank you so much. Our schedules just would not cooperate until now, and you're on tour. So I want to dive in because I know your time is so precious. And these questions, though, are I've been waiting. So are you ready?
I am ready.
All
Can't
right,
wait.
take a sip because you might need it. Okay, let's start with the elephant, or should I say balls in the room. The Felons Ball is a title that winks while it whispers danger. What reaction were you secretly hoping for when people first saw it on the bookstore shelf or their auntie's nightstand?
When I wrote it, I definitely wasn't thinking about balls in that way. I was definitely thinking about a party. But what I love about it is, it kind of suggests, especially with the cover, that
Yes.
criminals in the book and they're getting away with it and they're
Mhm.
having a great time. And that's kind of what the book is all about. So I hope people think of that when they see the title.
Speaking of the cover, I love the fact that it has like this really dainty hand extended with the manicured nails, holding the martini and the draping cufflinks as if they were a beautiful little bracelet to be celebrated. How much input did you have for the cover design?
Well, I'm not an art person at all. I don't know anything about design. So usually, with my books, I'll tell the art department kind of what I'm picturing, and they always come up with something way better than what I had in my mind. So we did go through a couple different versions with this, but I think as soon as we saw this one, my editor, my agent, and I all said that's it. This is just perfect for this book.
It really is, and it does make you want to pick it up and see what's going on. Now, your characters feel like cousins we only see at funerals, familiar, messy, and keeping secrets.
That's right.
Which one pulled a fast one on you while writing, and who refused to behave on the pages?
Oh, I love that question. My favorite character to write is the dad in the novel, Trey McCready,
Yes.
which is funny because in some ways he's also the bad guy, but I
Hmm.
just found him so entertaining anytime he showed up. So he was really fun to write. The protagonist, Natalie, we probably have some things in common, but she's the youngest in the family. She's a little bit spoiled, so I kind of wanted her to make better decisions sometimes, but probably on a book if she had.
Now, with the father, he hosts this ball. When you were envisioning the main event, was there like a family function or something that you yourself attended that you were kind of able to pull from, or did it just completely manifest as you were writing?
We don't have any. I wish we had parties like that. No, nobody in my family does. But I think I was probably thinking of like reality shows,
Yeah,
rich people parties that are just way over the top, way too much of everything. And so it was really fun kind of making that up on the page.
nice. This book smells like wood smoke, old bourbon, and secrets gone sour. What's one sensory detail from your own life that found its way into the atmosphere of this story and refused to be edited out?
Ooh, that's great. Um, so sensory detail, I guess I'm thinking a lot of it takes place on the water because the
Hmm.
family lives right next to the lake. They do a lot of kayaking and canoeing. And I love to kayak, but I'm always terrified of being capsized. I'm not a great swimmer. So I think that feeling of like having fun on the lake, but also that little bit of danger is definitely something that comes from my life.
Nice. I like that. And I too, I love the concept of water sports. And I used to swim as a child, and then something traumatic happened. My brother and I were at the Y, and I was little bitty, like 10 or something, and this really large woman just jumped into the water and on me, and I went under. And I still recall that feeling of being underwater. And sometimes when I go into small spaces, that feeling kind of comes over me, right? Of being. And I've not
Mm.
yet, you would think at age 60, I would have gotten over it, but it's still there.
No, those childhood things, I think they stick with you.
I know. And I live on the water, so I need to get over it. Um, Now, I love this next question. I pulled it from one of the reviews on Goodreads, and the reviews were so good on this book. Someone on Goodreads called it a devilish mix of murder and moonshine, my two favorite things. That's practically a Southern cocktail. But was there ever a point where the book felt too close to home or too risky to write?
I think I was worried a little bit about the dynamic between, I mentioned that Natalie is around 25 and she's sleeping with her dad's best friend who's 50. And obviously that's legal, but not a great idea. So I was worried that people would be put off by that or, find it really disturbing. No one said that to me yet. So I don't know. I guess
Nice.
I'm okay.
All of us looking for a sugar daddy, especially one that smells like bourbon and money. We'll keep that. We'll keep that, Polly. Keep that, girl. Keep that. I want to chat a little bit about your plot twist. If your story were a math equation, what would it be?
Oh, Lord. I don't know math. I mean, I think I'm so bad at it. So I'm trying to think. Uh, um, Family minus outsiders equals family. Let's go with that.
Oh, girl, that would make a good title of a book, or at least a tagline. I like that. In my case, it would be family minus family equals friends.
That might be better for most of us.
Now, Natalie, let's talk about Natalie because I did identify, not with the age part, I'm the oldest child, but I love the development of Natalie and just her obstacles and everything that she just seemed to draw from and still come out of this like head high going forward. She walks the tightrope between loyalty and self-preservation. Have you ever faced a moment, big or small, where keeping the peace meant losing a piece of yourself?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I guess the thing that immediately comes to mind is I have a special needs child. And with in that situation, you have to fight often for services and for the support that kids need. And it's important to be polite, right, when you're dealing with professionals. And there were times when I wanted to lose my temper so bad. I just wanted to cuss somebody out. But I knew that wouldn't do him any good. So that's the first thing I think of is kind of I had to keep my cool in that situation.
Yeah, yeah. That's also just such a delicate balance. We're talking about balance with Natalie, and that is truly a delicate balance. Let's have some fun. And we may have touched a little on this part with our intermission, so it may feel similar, the question. Describe the Felons Ball using only items found in a small town gas station. Snacks, drinks, lottery tickets, or whatever gets the job done. Bonus points if one of them is a flammable.
Well, I'm going to start with Marlboro Lights because I quit smoking a long time ago, and now I let my characters smoke, so I can like live vicariously through that. So there would be some cigarettes, there would be some Hostess cupcakes, some Miller Lite, and let's throw in some lighter fluid just for fun.
Just for fun. I like that. Now, with the Hostess cakes, are we talking the traditional chocolate? Or are you going for that new little yellow, the little yellow? vanilla cover that they have.
Yeah, I'm interested in the vanilla ones. I haven't tried them yet, but yeah, they would probably want to try those.
Nice. Your twist hit hard, but what I want to know is, did you plan it like a chess master from page one, or did your keyboard black out and you woke up with a draw-dropping ending and half an empty coffee cup? But I'm going to say a wine glass filled with moonshine.
Yeah, it was more the second one, which has never happened to me before, and I don't think will ever happen again. My last book took me 4 years to write. I'm really struggling with the one I'm working on now, but the Felons Ball was just like a gift. It just kind of dropped in my lap. So I got very lucky with this one.
It was ball dropping. It was ball dropping.
It was ball dropping. It was.
Love it. Where are the listeners able to engage with you and to stay connected with you, balls and all?
I can't promise you too many balls, but I'm on Instagram at Polly Stewart Books. I'm on Facebook at just Polly Stewart. So you can always find me.
Wonderful. Now, you alluded to the fact that you're working on something else. I know that you're on tour for the Felons Ball, but what's next? What's coming new from Polly's world of mystique, intrigue, and messiness?
Well, it's definitely messy. The new one's called The Glass House. It's set in a wilderness area in Virginia where there have been a series of women murdered over about a 10-year period. Law enforcement says they're not connected, but a lot of the locals think they are. And there's a mother and daughter living nearby who kind of get pulled into looking into those cases.
Ooh, I like that. Of all the books that you've written, if your characters, this is one of my favorite questions, and this is the last one for this segment. If all of your characters were to show up for, normally I say a barbecue, but let's call it a ball, a gala. Which character is going to completely flip over tables as if it's a necessary thing to do? And which one will sit there sipping their moonshine?
I think Cassie, the oldest sister, who's another one of my favorite characters, she would have to flip the tables because she's annoyed with her family kind of throughout the whole book.
Uh-huh.
The Rosemary would definitely be sitting there looking very dainty and demure, sipping her moonshine.
Now, Cassie, she's married to Jay, right?
Cassie is married to Jay. Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Old.
We didn't talk a lot about the characters, and I know that you are doing umpteen interviews, and I'm going to tag some to this, but of the ancillary characters, those that married in, what was it like writing them in such a way that they felt part of the family, but still had that autonomy that they had present?
I really wanted them to have different roles. So Jay, who's the older sister's husband, he comes from California. He's Indian American, so he's very different than the other people in the family, and that was intentional. I wanted him to kind of challenge the way they looked at the world. The second daughter is married to a cop who's very much kind of your traditional Southern cop and has a lot of kind of kind of looks for danger in every situation. And the youngest daughter, she has a lot of different relationships over the course of the novel, but she ends up with another guy who's very, very much part of the community. So I wanted to kind of look at that dynamic of outsiders and insiders and what it meant to bring those people in.
In your own family dynamic, have you experienced that outsider insider dynamic to where you pulled from it, or it was just truly just fictional in developing the family for the Felons Ball?
Well, I've definitely experienced that family. I'm very close to my mother, but she always had very strong opinions about the guys that I brought home. And now that I have kids of my own, I'm trying to maybe go a little bit softer on that and maybe not, make my opinions quite as known. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I know how she felt.
Yeah, I love that. So we've come to the part of our show that I call Last Call. And it is a series of would you rather questions. And for the listeners, please go back and listen to our intermissions. We did a bunch of truth or dare and had a lot of fun in that segment. So we're going to take another sip. Any excuse to drink? And I know, Polly, you're saying that it's coffee in that mug, but my friend,
By
we
that.
didn't write all about that moonshine for it to just be coffee, but shh, your secret's good with me. Okay. Would you rather? Would you rather be stuck at a Southern debutante ball with your most scandalous character or go undercover at a moonshine distillery run by your ex's mama?
Oh my gosh. Now I'm trying to think of what ex. I think I'd take it the debutante ball because that would be a great time to just like kick back and enjoy the show. I think while other people were misbehaving.
Now, were
Sounds
you a
fun.
debutante?
I was not. No.
I was a debutante and I don't remember a bunch of it. I just know that I was. It's just kind of like a blur. Oh, yeah, I was a
Probably
debutante.
for I
Huh?
know they teach you how, don't they? So some useful stuff.
Yeah, so they said. I don't recall. Okay, would you rather your next book, not The Glass House, the one after that, your next book be adapted into a prestige HBO drama with bad casting and too many slow pans, or a viral Tubi hit with an unhinged budget, co fans, and memes galore? That's a great question.
It's a great question. Yeah, I'm going to go for the to be hit. I love the idea of just a good version of it. I don't care where it comes out.
Man, I tell you, I don't know where I come up with these things.
They're fun.
Too much moonshine. Okay, would you rather write your next mystery without using any punctuations or only be allowed to use phrases your granny would approve of?
That would limit me a lot, but my grandma was pretty hilarious. She had some good sayings, so I'll go with that for sure.
I write under a pen name the spicy stuff, right? The stuff that my mama and pastor can't read. And when I was looking for a pen name, the spiciest hoish woman I knew was my grandmother. So I used her maiden name and her married name as my pen name. Let me tell you, that woman has some sassy sayings. So
So,
um,
oh, does she know that you used her name?
if she's looking down from heaven, she does. I
I'm sure
cannot
she's
improve.
proud.
Oh, yes, honey. I'm certain I made that woman proud. She was spicy. Okay, and our last one. Would you rather spill your character's darkest secrets at a church potluck or be trapped in a room with a book club that thinks they figured out the twist but are so absolutely wrong?
I'm gonna go with the church potluck because I have a lot of good friends at church, and I think they'd be okay with that. They'd be here for it, so that would be more fun for me.
Now, are your church friends also your moonshine friends? But I'm asking for a friend.
For sure.
Well, thank you, Polly, for joining me. I know that you're on tour. I hope that every location you go to completely sells out and that you have tremendous success with Glass House. And I hope that when the time comes that you come back and join me.
I would love that, Florenza. Thank you so much for these great questions and for having me on. This is fun.
Thank you.
And this wraps up another episode of On the Air with Florenza. You may follow me on all social media platforms under Florenza Lee or via my website at florenza.org. Until next time, cheers.